we have this campaign, Water Works, why it is so important to support that children can get water.
I think by now everybody knows that we are in a global crisis with weather, with nature, and we are in this great social upheaval. And I think one of the great victims of this fact are the children of the planet, children and women. And UNICEF is gravely concerned, as we always are, with the conditions in which we find our children. The great crisis of the day is water. And in that context, we find that different zones, different regions have different problems. In some places, we have large droughts, very barren areas where there's no water at all. And we find ourselves desperately trying to find underground wells, finding the technology, delivering that technology to dig deep enough to bring water to the populations in these areas. One of the things we also find is that where there are large bodies of water and people do concentrate, more often than not, those areas are extremely contaminated and infested with germs and disease. People who ingest the water in those areas more often than not are subject to grave diseases. We have people dying from dirty water. We have people living in these communities who have no sense of social hygiene. Not only do they wash in these waters and drink what they wash, but people also defecate. They have no sanitation, they defecate in the water. All this gets mixed, and we find our children coming up with all sorts of diseases. Roughly 3,000 children a day die just from water contamination. That's more than HIV and AIDS and malaria and all the other diseases put together. And it's a great, great crisis globally. And UNICEF's task is to try to not only raise consciousness with the public, such as we're doing here, but to try to get the message out to families and to people so they can begin to take care of themselves and make a difference.
You're an ambassador for UNICEF for many, many years. Why is this so important for you, this work? This is important.
First of all, I enjoy the work with my UNICEF colleagues, my fellow UNICEF ambassadors. I really enjoy being in their company. I enjoy going to the places in the world that we go to try to make a difference. But most importantly, I feel it's my moral responsibility. If I can do it, I should do it. And I take a great concern for the developing countries of the world. 1 billion people are affected by this water crisis. 1 billion people are in starvation. 1 billion people are in all sorts of social destabilization. Our refugee populations are moving in large quantities, and these things constantly challenges nature. And our task is to try to find solutions to this, and nobody does that better than UNICEF.
What you get back personally from this work, from the support?
Tell you what?
What you get back from this work for heart and mind?
I get back from this work, the best reward is the smile on the child's face, who just a few days before may have been a child who's dying. It doesn't get any better than that. That's the best end, you just got it. You got another question?
Yeah.
I bet you don't.
Just one lesson. Every time I see you, you are that fit, and I'm just wondering, how do you do this?
Journalists.
Really? Why?
They keep me running. Keep the circulation going.
So do you have a tip for me, what I can do to become that old in that way you became old?
Stop being a journalist and become a victim.